Coming up on the season premiere of Flash Talk, we talk Kent State football with head coach Kenny Burns. We hit the soccer pitch with head coach Rob Marinero. We talk field hockey with Kyle DeSantis Moyer and take a look inside our volleyball program with head coach Haley Eckerman. That and a look around Kent State sports is all up in a flash. Welcome back inside the GFTV studios. It's Flash Talk, and we're brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling. Dan Griffin alongside the head ball coach, Kenny Burns, talk a little Kent Grit football. And coach, I can't believe it. Week 1 is upon us. I have to imagine that fall camp was, in a word, a sprint.
Yeah, it was definitely a sprint. Can't be more proud of our young men. They did a phenomenal job of just doing what we asked them to do. We got bigger, faster, stronger. I think we looked at it in 3 different phases. The first week we wanted to just evaluate where we were. The second week kind of develop off that evaluation and get better. And then the last week and a half was about mastering everything now. Now you know what we want, you know where we're at. Now let's master this system and be the best football team we can possibly be. And they did that.
Just talk about some of the people that, in your mind, emerged, for lack of a letter bird out of camp. It could be as a leader, could be as a football player, could be both.
You know, I don't think many teams come out of camp with no season-ending injuries, sure. And we had none. And that is a credit to how they took care of their body, and then what our coaches did in managing how many reps we actually got, how much was contact, how much was not. So we did a great job with that. And I thought there were several players that had really good fall camps. Some guys solidified themselves. Some guys I weren't expecting to do what they did that did. But I'll start always with, I think, our running back, Gavin Garcia. I talk about him a lot just because I think he's a very good football player and someone that people don't know a lot about, but his development since I've been here has been outstanding. And then you got Stephen Daly on the defensive line, another young one that's doing a phenomenal job as well. And we got just a lot of guys who just haven't played much football in a game situation, and they need to be under the pressure of the situation to make mistakes and learn and grow. It's a lot of newness for our team, as we got 11 new starters on offense and several defensive new starters, but it's really getting that cohesiveness to play together. The talent's there. It's just, again, relying on each other, understanding what we're doing, and then really maximizing our opportunity.
Well, and you said that you're the most opportunistic team in college football, and one of the few that the opposition has no tape on.
No tape on. No, that's probably the biggest thing for us is we're going to use that in our advantage. You know, there's not only do you not, typically as a new head coach, you don't have tape on what they're doing. Right. They don't have that tape. But then you don't have tape on any of their roster either, right, to know, okay, what's their skill set and what can they do from that standpoint. So we do have that advantage going into this game, which is obviously a big game.
It's going to be Thursday night, 7 o'clock on Fox Sports 1 as you take on an old MAC member, but now the newest member of the Big 12 in UCF. Talk a little bit about the Knights and what they're going to bring to the table. And
you know what? They're a very tough football team. They're skilled, obviously. Gus Malzahn does a great job with that team, and you see their growth over his time there. Had a chance to play against them when I was at Minnesota. We played them in the Outback Bowl, Auburn, and that team, you saw how hard they play. You saw how they protected the football. They were sound. They weren't going to beat themselves. And then when you turn on the UCF tape, you see the same thing. A really disciplined, sound football team that plays extremely hard, and there's talent all over the place. So, we got to play well. We got to do what we do. We got to do the value and the core things that matter to us, which is also playing hard and protecting the football and execution. But it should be a fun atmosphere, playing in the bounce house, and our kids are getting ready to play.
Talk about some of the guys that have emerged as the leaders and the voices away from the coaching staff.
Sure. We got something that we did we have a leadership council, and our leadership council is voted on by our team. They vote for 4 young men from each grade, and that makes up our leadership council. Then within our leadership council, our coaches pick the top 10 players to be our captain for that year. And 10's a really important number to me because typically you can reach each age group and each position by doing that. So those are the guys that were voted on by our coaches, and those guys all do all the right things on and off the field and how they carry themselves, and their voices ring loud on our football team. And they're guys that I couldn't be happier about, being my first Kent Grit captains.
And lastly, and very quickly, when we take the field on Thursday night, just in about 10 words, what can we expect from the Kent Grit era, game 1, season 1?
That's a great question. 10 words, man. That's hard. No, I think you're going to see a team that is extremely connected, that is playing as one, that is having fun with each other, and that's giving you literally everything they have. Every time they practice, that's what you see. They are leaving nothing else in the tank when they walk off the field. So I think that our fans will see that. They'll see an excitement and a physicality and a love for each other that our football team has.
It's one of the first games of week one on a national stage, and we're looking forward to it, Coach. And let's keep talking about some big victory as we look forward to many more here in the Kent Grit area.
Yeah, excited, and go Flashes, Kent Grit.
We'll be back with more Flash Talk right after this, brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling. Welcome back to Flash Talk. We're brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling. We're hitting the pitch and talking with head soccer coach Rob Marinero. Coach, thanks for taking a few minutes of your time to talk a little soccer with us.
My pleasure, always.
Just talk a little bit about training and the first few weeks of getting the 2023 season and that squad together.
It's been a great group to work with so far. Had a lot of players come in fit and ready, made a statement that they're ready to perform this year, and that's always a great start. A great freshman class, so now they're kind of pushing everybody to perform, and that just makes a stronger unit as far as competition is concerned. And then, start off with the win and the tie, and, we're a little disappointed on the tie, and unfortunately, that's a part of soccer, but the parity is very strong amongst Division I soccer. But getting some results at this point is important for us. I think confidence is a crucial aspect for us right now.
Well, you guys are going to get some frequent flyer miles under your belt, and you're heading out to Arizona to play Arizona and Arizona State. How does a game or games like that, or matches, I should say, come together? Because I know every sport kind of arranges their schedule differently. So how did this come to be?
We through COVID, we didn't travel. Something that we prided ourselves as a program is to give our student athletes the experience something a little bit different that they haven't had. So we just kind of scoured the country on who can give us a good deal, who would give us the best competition, and we're not afraid to play anybody. We'll go and put ourselves out there and see where we can compete and prepare ourselves for conference play. And Arizona State's an amazing place to play. It's going to be a little bit hot, but we're going to have to deal with those things. But we love to challenge our team with that type of adversity, see how they come through and battle through, and again, just prepare themselves for conference.
Yeah, because the non-conference is all about learning experiences, whether it be building the confidence or putting your team into different situations, whether it be heat or maybe different tactics on how a team wants to play in order to prepare for the conference season.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, in preparation, you have to try some different things. And as we feel out what's the best situation for our team, we know what we're comfortable with, what we can excel in, and where we might be exploited in some of our weaknesses. And those are great things to know before you get into conference, because that's what everybody else is scouting.
You guys do it, senior day, a little unique to where you do it during the non-conference slate. So talk a little bit about that senior class and what a special event that's going to be.
Yeah, it's a great group of young women, and senior day, the reason we put it there is we want to make sure it's a good celebration. Non-conference games makes it something that we spend a little bit more time and energy in our seniors, where once you get into conference and you put it in a conference game, the importance, I don't want to say that all games are important, but obviously when you put it around a conference game, then the focus becomes the game a little bit more, and we just want to make sure that we celebrate our seniors, because it's been a wonderful group. They're a great group of young women on and off the field. They've been excellent, so that deserves to be celebrated.
And again, that's going to be the 10th, so come on out and support them as they're going to be taking on a relatively local rival in the Duquesne Dukes. And now let's focus a little bit about, like you said, everything you guys are doing in the non-conference with as far as training leads up into the Mid-American Conference season. We'll have you on, obviously, multiple times throughout the season. But the MAC, regardless of sport, and soccer especially, is a parity league, like 1 through 12, to where a bounce here, a bounce there means you could win the regular season or you can miss the tournament entirely.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happened to us last year. We finished points-wise in 5th, and the tiebreaker put us in 7th, so we missed the playoffs by a point. So that was heartbreaking for our student athletes, and they're looking to bounce back. But the parity has always been really strong. I think there have been some programs in certain time spans have kind of put themselves at the top, and we're looking to cycle that right back up.
And let's talk a little bit about the team at hand. You mentioned the senior class, and you mentioned the freshmen pushing everybody. Have you seen early on some leaders emerge, whether it be their play on the field or how they're vocalizing it in the locker room or off the pitch?
Yeah, I mean, I think Delaney Ronaldo has stepped up as one of our leaders. Sarah Million, of course, our goalkeeper, has stepped up with her years of experience. But all the seniors have taken a role in making sure that they're taking the entire team, especially the freshmen, under their wings and just letting them know the competitive spirit of Kent State soccer.
Well, Coach, best of luck out west. Try to stay cool, and then we'll welcome you back here and represent and recognize a phenomenal senior class on September 10th. So best of luck.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Coach Rob Marinero, talk a little soccer. We'll be back with more Flash Talk right after this, brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling. Welcome back inside the GFTV studios. It is Flash Talk. We're brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling. Dan Griffin, joined with head field hockey coach Kyle DeSantis Moyer. And Coach, I can't believe it's already the start of the regular season, and that's from just a casual observer, somebody that's actually going through it. How crazy exciting, all the words is it that we're actually here for the 23 season?
It's amazing. The coaching staff, and I think the team too, we're super excited to get back just with how many returners we have, which is a little bit different look than last year, and just excited to see what this new year is going to bring us.
Went on the road and tested yourself against a couple of opponents. A couple came in, and here as you guys worked the kinks out playing against, always good to play against somebody other than yourselves. What were kind of the big lessons learned from camp?
First off, we were super happy the way they showed up. The fitness level was way higher than it was last year, and I think that just goes with our experience. And we brought back 19 returners that just know what's expected. So that really helped our 5 freshmen. We really just hit the ground running. The level of competition and just the level of practice was way higher this preseason than in years past. So we're really happy with that. Going our scrimmages, we were able to have everyone get an experience on the field and just see what we're trying to do this year, change our style of play a little bit, be a little more aggressive and attacking minded. So we were able to try those things out and be successful.
You are the epitome of anytime, any place, anywhere, are you not?
That's our motto. That's what we tell our recruits is like, we want to be nationally competitive. You need to be prepared to play teams ranked in the top 5, 10, just getting them prepared for when we get to MAC play. That's really our goal and how we do things here.
Well, back to camp, to talk a little bit, like you said, you had 19 returners, 5 incoming freshmen. Just talk a little bit about that intensity in camp.
Yeah, I mean, the first week and a half, myself and the coaching staff were like, we are going to have some difficult decisions, which is great. I think they've been pushing each other, pushing themselves. We feel like we have more depth than last year. And just that, the freshmen they had to learn quickly, and they did it, which was great. So we were able to really just keep building on the things that we started to work on in the spring, on the field stuff, our mentality, all those things. And we just right out the gate kind of like went for it.
Any names, any couple of players that really stood out and you're going, wow, they've really taken a jump since the last time we've seen them?
Yeah, I mean, we had 3 awesome freshmen last year that were named to the All-MAC team, and they've continued to come back looking stronger and fitter. Patty Strunk, who was our MAC Freshman of the Year, she's, looking even fitter than she was, so we're excited for her. Iris, who's our starting center back, just playing with a lot more confidence. And then also Maya Sarah Bayrus, who, again, just returning back in that, center mid position. So the 3 of them, but also some of our seniors have really stepped up. Alex Sacker, she's just stepped up with her leadership and her fitness. She really set the standard.
Well, this weekend is opening weekend here at Murphy Mellis. You bring in Michigan State, you bring in UC Davis making the cross-country trip. So talk a little bit about those 2 sides and really what to expect when we pack Murphy Mellis and seeing you guys in person for the first time this year.
Michigan State, we play them every year. It's obviously always a tight game, and we haven't come away with the win since I've been here. So that's something that we feel like we really got to get that win this year. So we're just looking forward to playing more forward, more fast, more attacking minded, more aggressive than we have been in the past, a little more defensive minded. UC Davis, I don't think we've ever played them before or since I've been here. So I think we're just excited to play a new team and just get out there and hopefully continue just building on that momentum that we'll have had in the games leading up to it.
Oh, it's gonna be fun to see in person here this weekend. Best of luck as we start the regular season, Coach, and as always, go Flash.
Thank you.
Let's take a look at what's going on around Kent State, brought to you by KSUTix.com. We start on the football field where the Kent Grit era officially gets underway on Thursday evening as your Golden Flashes will travel to Orlando to take on the Central Florida Knights. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. on the Kent State Radio Network as well as Fox Sports 1. On the soccer pitch, our Kent State Golden Flashes will be out west. On Thursday, they'll take on the University of Arizona, and on Sunday, they'll take on Arizona State. While our volleyball team is in Iowa City for the Fry Invitational hosted by the Iowa Hawkeyes. And our field hockey club is at home at Murphy Mellis Field. On Friday, they'll be taking on Michigan State on International Day, where fans will get a free luggage tag as well as a field hockey schedule poster. On Sunday, September 3rd, your field hockey team is back in action against the UC Davis Aggies. It's Youth Day, with the kids getting a free field hockey stick and post-game autographs after the match. Be sure to follow all Kent State athletics on all your social media platforms, Instagram, X, Facebook, and TikTok. Back with more Flash Talk right after these messages, brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling. Welcome back inside the GFTV studios. Dan Griffin here with Flash Talk, brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling. I am joined with Haley Eckerman, talking a little Kent State volleyball. And Coach, I can't believe it, and you probably can't either, that the regular season is already upon us in 1 week already in the books.
Yeah, I don't even know what date it is. I knew when Saturday the 19th was because of our scrimmage, but other than that, I don't know the actual dates. I don't know times. I don't know anything. I'm kind of just running around crazy. Camp
is got to be a whirlwind. So talk a little bit about the highlights of fall camp. It obviously culminated in a big victory in the exhibition that you mentioned, but just how the teams kind of gelled together as we get ready for the regular season.
Yeah, it's crazy mayhem trying to get. I mean, obviously we had 4 of those kids come in the spring and a couple come in the summer, but 11 new kids adapted to our culture in a fall season. Spring is so different than fall, so even those 4 kids, it's different for them. So to basically have a week and a half to get everybody ready was a little chaotic. But that's why we scheduled the Findlay game this year, just so that we could get a competition against someone else and be able to run the 6 or 7 or 8 that we want versus having to split them up in a practice and have the sides kind of be more even.
What in the world did you do to get everybody in this pressure cooker to try to get everything up to speed in time for the regular season? I'm sure it's a work in progress, but were there any kind of shortcuts or things that you were trying to do to kind of gain back that time?
Yeah, I think our focus this spring was really pushing the culture and creating kind of what our standard's going to be. So those 8 that we had over the spring did a really good job of helping us kind of adjust to that in the fall. It's great, too. I have 2 coaches now and a manager, student manager. So it's been a little bit more calm, and we're able to kind of split things up and really have each coach be in their role in a sense versus me just being offense and Tamika just being defense. So now Tamika can really work with the passers. Jackson can really work with the setters. I can work with the pins in the middles. And so I think that helped kind of be able to quickly adjust to things because we had all a full staff.
Sure. It's amazing what that manpower can do. Have there been any players that kind of have emerged as a voice that you can kind of lean on a little bit? Hey, I need you to be the voice to this team.
Yeah, so we just recently selected a leadership council, and the girls vote on it. And it's based off of their values of what our team stands for. So for hunger, there's a couple of different things that each letter stands for. And when they voted, I said this person, the 3 people that you're picking should have most or all of these characteristics. And I think that's pretty much what they based it on. And so Kiana, Kendall, and Bryn have done a really good job of stepping into that role. And those are people that they're kind of the middleman between the coaching staff and the team, and to be able to kind of relay things, but also push the culture value as well, instead of it just coming from the coaches.
And then mid-September is when you guys start rolling home. When we start packing the MAC for volleyball, what can we expect from this team? You mentioned the culture. You mentioned kind of the expectations. Is there a certain style that you're looking for, or when you watch the team, what are some words that are going to come to mind?
Yeah, I think it's crazy, that football has this grit word. We're trying to get that out of kids. And I think it's not just football trying to do it. Every sport's always trying to find those, what I call a dog athlete and dog mentality. So I think we're working on pushing that. But our biggest goal is just consistency, trying to be consistent all around. And in the past, we've been known for so many hitting errors and serving errors and different unforced errors that's our focus a lot, is how can we manage the game better. And I think our first set against Findlay really showed if we manage the game well, we can play comfortable, we can play free. But when we have so many errors and different things and we're not locked in as much, then that's when all of it kind of goes out the door and we lose the focus of what our goal is.
Yeah, volleyball usually is a tight. It's a tight race to 25. When like you said, unforced errors can really swing momentum one way or the other. And if you can avoid those mistakes, obviously you're forcing the other team to make plays.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, thank you very much for a few moments of the time. Best of luck as you guys travel away from the MAC Center, but we look forward in mid-September for you guys being back and packing the MAC and watch some great Mid-American volleyball here with the Golden Flashes.
Can't wait. Thank you.
Haley Ackerman joining us here on Flash Talk. That's going to do it for this week's edition of Flash Talk, brought to you by Brian Heating and Cooling. Join us next week when we take another deep dive inside of Kent State Athletics. For all of us here inside the GFTV studios, good night and go Flashes.